Good afternoon, everyone. I, CA Charmi Shah, on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee (ICI), welcome all the participants to today's webcast on powerful negotiation skills, building consensus, and creating win-win outcomes. I welcome to today's resource person, CA Bhavesh Mahajan, sir, and all the participants present here. CA Bhavesh Mahajan, sir, is a distinguished chartered accountant, over 19 years of professional experience in audit, assurance, taxation, banking, financial consultancy, and governance driven leadership. He holds multiple ICI certification, including DISA, forensic auditing and fraud detection, GST, yes. To continue with the introduction of Sir, he holds a key leadership position as Secretary and Vice Chairman of ICI Amritsar Branch and Secretary of Income Tax Practitioner Associates, Amritsar, and he's deeply committed to socio and educational causes and co-founder of YAKP Private Limited. His blend of professional excellence, ethical values, and social responsibility makes him a respected voice in accountancy and finance fraternity. So, with this brief introduction, I welcome Bhavesh Mahajan, sir. And now, sir, all the stage is all open for your deliberation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Charmi, so much. Good afternoon, everyone. After this detailed introduction by Charmi, so kind words of her. Let me start with my today's session by sharing my screen first. Charmi, just confirm, is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. So friends, today's topic of our deliberation is the powerful negotiation skills. So as part of the professional enrichment, skill enrichment committee of ICI, this is one of the webcasts that is being arranged in this month of November, where we are celebrating this skill enrichment month. So this topic of powerful negotiation skills is one of the most important topic in our day-to-day life, because negotiation skills not only required as a part of our professional requirement, but also as part of our day-to-day life, where we do negotiate on various professional as well as personal scenarios at different moments of our life, building consensus and creating win-win outcome. So basically, this concept of negotiation skills is more about a win-win outcome with a consensus building, and not about authoritative or a one-sided outcome that can lead, that's more of a negative instance of any of the negotiation. So basically, what we are going to discuss today is about various scenarios where we have to take care in any sort of negotiation that are going to be in our, with a major focus on our professional negotiations. So why negotiations matter at all for CA especially? So let's understand this thing, why it is at all required. As chartered accountant, negotiation skills are very important. It's a daily necessity, shapes our professional success and client relationship. Because on day-to-day things, we always go for client discussions, client negotiation on different matter, fees related, work related, scope related, everything. The client always expect from us the maximum at the minimum of the cost, but at the same time, we have to see that our professional as well as commercial interest is always safeguarded along with the client's requirement. So it's as we all know, this is a commercial world and we are part of this commercial world, and this in this commercial world we all are ready. We have to face one thing, that our client is supreme, but at the same time we have to also take care about our own interest. And in this relation we have to see that client relations has to be kept, fees, timeliness, audit scope and deliverable expectations. At the same time, there are regulatory bodies who require certain things from us, tax officers, compliance authorities, and audit requirements at different parts. That is also one of the aspects of negotiation only. Financial institutions like banks, lenders, and financial documentation process, that is again a part of negotiation where we have to do a lot of things while dealing with the financiers on behalf of our client. In that case also, we are doing negotiations only with the financial institutions, and also the internal stakeholders, partners, employees, vendors, and professional consultants. At our own organizational level, we have to many a times do so many negotiations for a long-term process and long-term associations, so that our partners, employees, and others also don't don't feel that they are being not given due care about, or their expectations are not taken care of. So all these things, while in our day-to-day life, along with this, are but natural on our personal fronts also, with family level and otherwise also, we always have to take care about the sentiments and the expectations of others in our family and in our friends, etc. There is also the aspect of negotiation skills comes very handy for us to maintain those relations in a very cordial manner. So the strategic value of negotiation skills is that mastering negotiation transforms your practice and elevates your professional standing. Effective negotiation skills enable and navigate complex situations with confidence while building relationships. It not only enhances your professional influence and credibility, but also at the same time enables smoother compliance and audit processes. It definitely builds sustainable long-term client relationship. It reduces conflict, protects your reputation, and at the end creates outcome where all parties feel respected and get satisfied. And that is basically the very basic purpose of our today's deliberation, is that a negotiation should be such that it ultimately leads to an outcome where all the parties of the negotiations are well satisfied with the outcome and are not felt that they have been left out, or their interest has not been kept, are being safeguarded through that negotiation. So from starting to the end, we will be trying to look into this aspect, that how during a negotiation, it should be a fair, it should be objective, it should not lead to something which is not favorable to even a single party, although it's going to be gain, some loss, but at the end, the average of everything will be in such a way that it ultimately gives you a satisfactory outcome of being given a due care of your interest. This comprehensive session basically will cover the 4 aspects of the negotiation skill, basic and with the due concentration on our professional aspect, means as a chartered accountant, for the negotiation skills, how they are going to be an important thing. So in this, we will be first of all discussing the understand needs and interest, moving beyond position to identify shared goals and underlying motivations. The first aspect will be this, followed by building trust, how the establishing credibility through honest, transparent communication can help us to get the confidence of the other party whom we are negotiating with, leading to a value creation, how developing collaborative solutions that with that expand possibilities, that will not only help us to get maximum of the benefit from the client, also the same thing with the client also, that they will also not feel that they have been charged more, or they have not been delivered so much, whereas they were thinking of something additional. And finally, to the drive consensus, as I said, that the basic motive of our today's deliberation shall be how to get win-win outcome that satisfy all stakeholders. So first part is understand need, interest, and shared goals. Look, in any sort of negotiation, whether it is a one-to-one, or it is a group negotiation, or it is a some sort of negotiation of for some part, example like family settlement or partnership settlements or like this, we first of all have to understand what are the needs, interests of all the stakeholders in that negotiation. It's very much important because every stakeholder can have a different interest, different need, and till the time we don't get to know or understand their individual needs or their understanding about their goal or what outcome they want from this negotiation, we shall not be able to get the best of the result of that negotiation. Because understanding the other needs, because we know our own need, our own interest, but at the same time, in any sort of a negotiation, we also need to understand the interest and the goal of the other counterparties also. Because till the time we will know that, we will not be able to put up the best solution and the best option to them, which they will also agree to this. So starting one, I would like to show one video of a child, just an example of to start with how the understanding of this need of this is.
Dad, can I have some ice cream?
No, buddy, it's almost time for bed.
Don't let this happen to you. I'm gonna teach you how to get what you want from your parents. Let's do that again. Dad, I really missed you today. Can we share a bowl of ice cream and talk about our day?
Sure, buddy.
Yes. You gotta figure out what's important to your parents. For Dad, it's quality time. And for Mom, it's something else. Mom, can I play my video game?
Honey, you already played your video game today.
Let's do that again. Mama, can I do it for you so you can take a nap? That is so cute. I love you. And when I did, I'm glad you said again.
Sure. Just a minute. So just give me one thing, that was the video played? Okay. So as you can see that in a video, how a small child was able to negotiate what he wanted on the basis of the requirement, what his parents expected from him. So this is just a thing how when he wanted an ice cream, when he asked just for the ice cream, his father denied of it in the simple way. But when he shared this thing that he would like to share this ice cream along with his father in order to give the quality time with him. So in that way, the father immediately agreed to this. And when I went to mom, her expectation from the child was something different. And when he offered mom about the help that she was expecting, so immediately her mom very cordially allowed the child to do the work, and then later on used the time for playing the video game that he wanted to do so. So this is what basically is our negotiation should be in such a way that we should first of all understand what the counterparty's expectation is. The most powerful shift in negotiation is negotiation happens when you learn to what people say they want and what they actually wanted, why they actually want it. This distinction unlocks creative solutions. Because when we know why they want it, then only we can give them a better solution. Position is what someone explicitly states they want. This is the surface level demand or request presented in the negotiation. Like the child said, I want ice cream, or when our client says, I need an audit report in 3 days. We have to see that why or what is requirement. The interest should be the underlying motivation or reason behind the position. This reveals the true need driving the request. Because we have to understand why the client, as I said, the example, I need the audit report in 3 days. Now, why? First of all, we have to see why they need it in a 3 days. Because I have an urgent bank loan renewal deadline approaching. Automatically, the client will always be, look, we have to understand one thing, that client will always come at the last moment of his requirement. Even though this is the fact that the bank loan requirement would not have all of a sudden have cropped up, but he knew from the day one. But yes, in current business scenario, current professional scenario, the scene is that they expect that when they can give others the time, but not the professionals, they cannot give the time to them. So they requested if we wanted to be done it in 3 days. But we have to understand that ultimately any of the audit or everything, they require a minimum requirement. They require a minimum amount of time to take care about the quality also that has to be given as a professional. So the interest is, their requirement is to get the loan renewal deadline approaching. So as a skilled negotiator, always move the conversation from position to interest. So the position was, I require it in 3 days, and the interest is why. So my focus as a professional or as a negotiator will be to shift it from why you require it in 3 days to understand what is the need, what is the urgency, and what is the basic goal of the counterparty to get this work done in 3 days. This shift open pathway to solution that might otherwise remain hidden. Because until and unless I don't understand his requirement or don't understand his urgency, I might react or I might refuse it in a manner that the client feel that his interest has not been taken care of. But by understanding or by asking why you require it in 3 days, we can make him to come out with the certain things and help us to understand his urgency and his requirement. So extending this example further, that the client position is, I want my audit report in 3 days. First of all, we have to understand this position, convert this position into the interest, that is urgent bank renewal submission required to maintain credit facility. Now, this is very much because if the renewal work is not done in a timeline, then the account get stopped or get blocked, or he will not be able to undertake the various transactions of his end, and it will lead to the penal interest factor also due to the non-renewal in a due time. So again, coming back, this is the client position and client interest. Now, as a second party, we as a chartered accountant has to make our own position, that ensuring compliance quality and avoiding future professional risk. I cannot complete a full audit in 3 days without compromising quality. This is my position but I have to make it understand to the client, and that will be our interest, that ensuring compliance quality and avoiding future professional risk. Because client might not at first understand the nitty-gritties about the audit processes and about the audit quality. For him, the audit report is just the document which can give him or give him the renewal process done, or his bank or finance requirement. But for us, it is not only the interest, but our interest is to do the work in the most best of the possible manner, with the best of the quality, without any risk in the future, at the future level. So basically, ensuring compliance quality within the due dates, within the due time given by the client, is the basic thing that we need to make client also understand about and do the work in a manner. So both of us now, ultimately, client position, client interest, as a chartered accountant, our position, our interest, we need to have a shared goal. And the shared goal is complete audit quickly without compromising quality to secure bank loan. Now, in this shared goal, it sum up both position and both interests. That we need to do the audit within the given time frame of 3 days, but at the same time maintaining the best of the quality, and so that the client interest of getting the bank loan in a timely manner remains over there. So identifying the shared goal transforms an adversarial situation into a collaborative problem solving opportunity. This approach opens door to reasonable creative solution, because let's take an position that the client position was, I want an audit report completed in 3 days. And we, without understanding his reason, without understanding his position, interest, blatantly refuse it and say that I cannot complete it in 3 days without compromising quality. Now, if we only stick to the position part, that is client and mine, then the negotiation is not going to go further, because there will be a deadlock. Deadlock of a situation that both he will stand on his position, we will stand on our position, without each of us understanding what are the restrictions or what are the roadblocks in doing the certain things. So the shared goal, identifying the shared goal, that is to complete the audit quickly without compromising quality and to secure bank loan, we both need to understand each other interest, and that will only lead us to get both understand how we can get the best way of doing the thing in a collaborative manner, where the client also help us in provide the information in a timely manner, and we also put our best in to do the work in a timely manner, so that the deadline can be met at a best possible way. So this approach not only gives a reasonable part on the client also, so that if at any point of time there is any sort of a disruption, or there is any sort of a roadblock in completing the work in a timely manner, so the client should also be understanding that why the delay was, and what was the reason that the work couldn't be done. And this will only help us to take the pressure off us also, so that we also maintain our quality to the best. Now we have talked about that we should identify the interest, but the question again arises, how to identify interest effectively, because there can be visible interest, there can be hidden interest. So we have to take certain steps of identifying the interest of the both in a manner that it is the effective understanding, because at the upfront only, if these interests are understood in a best of the manner of both the parties, or any of all the parties of the negotiation, that can only give the future actions in a best manner. The first part of is asking open-ended question. There should not be any hidden questions. It should be open-ended. Use phrases like, can you help me understand why this timeline is important? Again, continuing with the example of doing the audit work in 3 days, that I have to ask the client why this timeline is important, or what would achieve this enable you to do. These questions invite explanation rather than yes or no explanation. Because with these type of questions, we are asking the client not to respond in a monologue, but to give a descriptive answers like why this is important, or what is the basic purpose. Because giving yes or no will be just black and white, but we have to look into the gray areas also. That can only be done by asking the open-ended question, and not just a monologue, just yes or no, you can do it or you cannot do it. We have to understand the pressure points, identify deadlines, compliance consequences, financial motivation, and external factor creating urgency. These reveal the context behind demand. We have to understand the deadline with compliances, because deadline is being given by the client 3 days. Compliance consequences are that we have to maintain the quality of the audit to the best. Financial motivation is our timely fees, as well as financial motivation of a client that he has to secure the bank loan from the bank to whom he has to furnish the audit report. And there are certain external factors which can or cannot affect a particular, these are called as contingencies, because sometimes what happens is there can be any sort of a problem or any sort of this thing, some sort of, there can be a holiday, there can be a bank holiday, there can be certain information that has to be taken from a third party, which are not at present available or not cooperating, which can reduce the work of audit to the manner. So ultimately, we have to see that how this is work is done, and then only we can get to know the pressure points and the solution to those pressure points. We have to distinguish non-negotiable from flexible areas. Look, there are certain things in the negotiation that which are non-negotiable, means we cannot at all compromise on our quality. That is the non-negotiable aspect. From client's perspective, the non-negotiable part is 3 days deadline. But there are certain other things which can be adjusted or which can be looked into or negotiated in a manner that they can be separated from non-negotiable part. Not all elements carry equal weight. Understanding which aspects are absolutely fixed versus those with room for adjustment create negotiation space. We have to make the client understand that these are the things which are required, these are the things which are negotiable, and these are the things which are non-negotiable. When the client will understand these things, or when the other party will understand these things, automatically the negotiation will get open, because then the client will know that what are the restrictions or objections from the other party or our side, and what are the things where we can work upon or where we can get little soft or little flexible so that we can do the work in the best possible manner. Stay curious, not defensive. Look, you should never, in a negotiation, it is very much important that you should never put your defensive part first. Your questions should be with genuine interest rather than defensiveness. You should not be defensive in a manner. You should not take these as a excuses or as a thing that the client should seek that we are not interested in doing the work because we are getting defensive or we are not able to do the work in 3 days. But with giving the right, putting up the right questions, by putting up the asking for the genuine reason from the client will understand that, okay, I wanted to know what exactly is the such urgency of the client. Our tone and demeanor signal whether you are seeking to understand or merely counter argue. We should never, our tone should be of a friendly manner. It should be of a empathetic. We should be of a think that yes, we want to do this thing, but first of all, we want to understand you and we are always with you. Because doing something which is defensive, which you can look in for the client, it can go for as a counter argue that I don't want to do the work because 3 days is so less, or you have not good enough. But we have to be in a ask the questions in a manner that the client think that I am ready to help him. I am ready to want to do his work, but I first of all want to know certain things or certain reason behind this urgency. So this will help the client to have a more into this negotiation where we can safeguard interest of both the parties. So the 5-way method for CA professional should be each why reveals another layer of understanding. We have to look into 5 whys. Why? The first, like now shifting from to another example of fee reduction request. In our day-to-day life, many a times means all the time the client always wants us to reduce the fees, or the client always thinks about want to negotiate with us on a fees matter, and that we face day-to-day life and day-to-day our professional commitment, professional work. And in this only, the first thing we have to negotiate while doing this type of negotiation, we have to be very much confirmed, or we have to be very much to this 5 methods, why method, that Why do you want the fees reduced? First of all, we have to understand that why the client is asking for the fee reduction, because there can be a situation that the fee reduction that the client is asking for is they there can be a genuine reason, there can be a normal commercial reason. The way in which the client always want to bargain, when we have always seen, we also, when we go to some buying or some sort of a buying, we also try to bargain to save whatever we can. So same is the nature with the client. So client also want to do the bargaining. So first of all, we have to understand, why do you want to fees reduce? The client answer may be because the business is slow. This can be the reason. Most of the time, there is no business in the market, business is running low, business is not so much good, like this thing. So immediately our next question should be, why is business slow? Because as a chartered accountant, we are just not the auditor, we are the service provider and the partner with the client for their business to flourish. I always firmly believe that we as a chartered accountant can grow only with the growth of the clients. So until and unless we become the part and parcel of their growth journey, the client will not pay us. If we will strictly remain in the role of an auditor or in the role of just a third party, we will not be able to help the client grow and and until and unless our client will grow, we will not grow along with him. So our growth is directly proportional to the growth of the client. So we have to understand why the business is slow. The client answer will be because our cash flow cycle is delayed. Business, you might see that, okay, you are asking your fees as per our turnover. Our turnover is this much, but this turnover does not depict our actual cash flow. The cash flow is blocked in our receivables and other things. So we have to understand, why is cash flow delayed? So client will say, because payment from two major customers are pending. So that is a genuine reason. If we also look into the financials of the client, we can easily find that these payments are blocked from the major customer, due to which all of the circle of cash flow has been disrupted, and ultimately this has led to the poor cash flow scenario, because of which he is asking us to reduce the fees. So the next question should be, why payments are pending? Because reconciliation issues are unresolved. Payment is pending because we have not been able to reconcile the different issues with those two major clients, because of which major customers, due to which the customer is not doing the payment, and ultimately this has led to a bad cash flow. So after looking into the 4 questions, what we have come to the conclusion that the problem is not the slow business, but the problem is not the fees that we are charging from him, but it's the problem of his is bad receivable management. So we have to make the client understand that our fees is not the problem. It is not going to, even if we will reduce the fees to an extent, it will not solve your problem. Your problem will only be solved only and only when you will properly manage your receivables, when you will, on a timely and a diligently basis, you will reconcile the issues with your customer, that can help you to get your blocked receivables cleared, and which will definitely improve your cash flow cycle. So by uncovering the root cause, now my offer should be little different. We should give him advisory services for receivable management. We should offer him that, okay, let me offer you some additional services like advisory services, how you can manage your receivables in a timely manner. Reconciliation support to resolve customer payment issues. Okay, you are facing certain unresolved reconciliation issues. Provide us to us. Let's see how we can help you to resolve these issues, how we can help you to get this reconciliation done, so that those reconciliation can be sent to the client, your customer, and then the customer, if customer is satisfied, he will definitely make your payment. Cash flow consulting to improve business operation. Not only, okay, if your some of the your receivable management, let's see how the other part of your cash flow can be improved, how your creditor payment can be resolved, or how, if possible, how a little more short-term finances can be arranged so that your cash flow doesn't get disrupted by the time we focusing on the proper receivable management. We can also offer him flexible payment terms aligned to their improved cash flow. Okay, this we can offer them the thing. Okay, this is our fees, but we are not asking you to pay our fees in a one flow. We can work out on certain arrangement where our fees can be paid in installment or in some way or a stage wise. As we do our work, whatever stages are completed, whatever work is done, you start paying us in a staggered manner, so that ultimately you don't also feel the burden at a one time, and ultimate we also get our fees as we requested. This transforms a fee negotiation into value adding engagement that addresses the client's real needs. So as we have seen by asking the whys, that the client's problem was the receivable management, and we as a chartered accountant, we as a professionals has provided him certain additional values, additional services, and helped him to get those issues or problems solved in the same fees, or rather, if possible, or there may be a situation that even at a better fees than what we have asked by providing these little additional services. So not only this will help the client to get out of his problem with almost with that much of fees or even with a better fees, but also help him will also create a more of our role as a business solution provider to the in the eyes of the client. So the client will take this in a positive manner, because now what is happening is, if the amount he is paying us or the fees he is paying us, he is also getting the value addition. He is also getting certain solution which he has not at present have asked from us, because according to him, there may be a situation that he might not be knowing that we can provide solution to his problem. So by understanding what actually is the problem of the client, our negotiation skills, our negotiation points or our negotiation strength has increased. We have been able to justify our fees by providing him little more help or little more services and helping him to get out of the problem for which he was, for the reason of which he was asking us to reduce the fees. So now the fees is also not reduced, client solution problem is also solved. So in a nutshell, this is a win-win situation for both of us, ultimately leading to a best of the negotiation. The next case study can be negotiating with the tax authorities. Day in, day out, whosoever as a professional, tax professionals also, we always negotiate with the tax authorities also whenever there is a assessment proceedings going on. Ultimately, assessment proceedings are also nothing but a negotiation. Negotiation between the interest of our client and between the interest of the revenue. We have to see that the assessing officer, he is on side of the revenue. So his position for the best of the interest of the revenue, he will request us from different documents. Let's take an example of one of the requests is that we have to submit 20 documents in a very less time of 24 hours for review and verification. Now, his real interest is that no delay is in case timeline and confirming no concealment information for compliance purposes. His interest is that he should complete the assessment proceedings with the best of the quality without any scope of escapement of assessment, escapement of any untaxed revenue or income, but in a timely manner. That is his position is again the timely short time period given for the submission of certain documents with the interest of that the compliance is being done in a timely manner. Now, on the other side, we as a representative of the client, our interest is providing accurate, complete documents without error to avoid dispute and ensure quality standard, professional quality standard. our should be that these 20 documents that are being provided, or whatever document that are being provided, they are errorless, without any ambiguity or without any complexity, so that at later stage no such thing should come up which can lead to any negative assessment done against our client. Our shared goal is that interest of the officer as well as the assessee, that is our client, is being safeguarded, and a smooth, efficient assessment process with complete transparency and accuracy that satisfy compliance requirement. Whereas our client is also being satisfied with our approach that yes, whatever the questions or the queries of the assessing officer were, they were duly answered with the proper support and proper documentation, without any scope of ambiguity at the audit stage at later point. So client will be satisfied that the order shall be coming in the best of the possible manner, with which there will not be of any scope or at later stage in the audit level that some other queries crop up at a later point of time. Ultimately, both their interests are safeguarded. That is the shared goal that is identified, be it on behalf of the assessee, on behalf of the assessing officer. It's his proper information provided by us, and also for us that the best of the information without any ambiguity is provided, so that assessment is done in a best of the manner. So what is the negotiated outcome? The negotiated outcome is staggered submission scheduled with priority document first, plus comprehensive summary sheet for officers' convenience, assessment completed faster and more smoothly. So if we are not able to provide those 20 documents in a span of 24 hours, we should at least provide him those documents which can help him on a ABC analysis. That is the first one, which is more important. Our scope, our priority should be providing him those documents, which is more of the important for him. Because all those 20 documents might not be of equal importance for him, but just as a matter of regular assessment procedure. But after understanding his interest and after knowing what actually he wants to know or what actually he wants to put on the record, we should first give him the most important document that is for his satisfaction and for his requirement of assessment. Along with that, we should give him the comprehensive summary sheet, which will help him to understand the case in a more better way, and will in that also he will be satisfied with the thing that the document that we have provided along with this comprehensive summary sheet, he will be able to know the position of the client and the assessment work in a much better manner, and that will also reduce burden from on our side and leading to a faster and more smoothly the assessment proceedings can be done. So after understanding what is the interest of both the parties, the negotiation stage comes to the next part, that is building trust through honest communication. Look, when we saw that video of a child with his father or his mother, in that what was being done, the child started to create a trust with his father and with his mother. The trust with the father was in the form of that I genuinely want to spend a quality time with you, but over a cup of or over a bowl of ice cream. So that was the trust factor that father got. Okay, the child is eager to spend time with me, and even if during that time he's eating ice cream or he's enjoying that ice cream, let it be. That is not important for me. What is more important is spending the quality time. And when it came to mother, when he offered his genuine help to the mother, it was more thing that mother got the trust in the child, that the child has himself offered his help for doing the household work. That is not that build the trust between the mother and the child, that she didn't have any problem that after doing that work, the child spends some time on the playing video game. That will not be an issue. So basically, building trust is more important between the negotiators, between various parties of the negotiation. Then only the negotiation process can go ahead. After we have understood the interest of the parties, the next stage is how that trust between the parties can be built, and that can only be built through honest communication, without any hidden agenda, without any ambiguity, without any thing which can create a mistrust among the member parties to the negotiation. So why trust is a currency of negotiation? Trust fundamentally changes negotiation dynamics. Look, always the friendly negotiation is the best thing. And the friendly negotiation can only be done when the parties of the negotiation treat each other as a friend, not as a rival. When people trust you, they become more flexible, less defensive, and generally open to exploring new solutions together. Because if there will be trust between the parties of the negotiation, that will help them to get more open, more flexible, more eager to find new solutions if there is any roadblock. The parties shall be more open to what the other party is saying, listening to them and what they want to convey, and understanding how that their concern is genuine. In the CA profession, trust is particularly critical because clients share sensitive financial information with us. Our professional judgment impacts their business solution decisions. Compliance outcome depends on transparent communication. Long-term relationship generate referrals and sustain business, and our reputation as a trusted advisor is most valuable asset. In one of our previous webcasts, I reiterated on all these points how our role from an auditor to a long-term partner or the advisor is important in current scenario. We should be considered as a advisor to the client for their growth, not as an auditor who is looking or there to find out the fault in their system. Look, no one requires or like the auditor, but everyone is eager or help. Everyone wants advisors who can help them to get out of certain problems, help them to improve their working, or help them to get their help them to grow in a longer run. So ultimately, our profession should be more of a trust building profession. Our profession should be manner that the client is putting his trust on us on various matters, whether it be audit or other financial information or with the tax requirements or other issues, even on a personal level also. So he trusts us more like anything. So without trust, every negotiation becomes a battle, because if there is no trust, the other person will not listen to you in the same manner you want him to listen. So communication will not be a effective communication. With trust, negotiation becomes collaborative problem-solving session. So ultimately, the negotiation will not be hostile negotiation, but it will be more of a friendly negotiation, because parties of the negotiation both are trusting each other, or if there are more than one party, every party is having trust on each other, and they know that together in a collaborative manner, they will be able to reach a consensus, which will be a win-win solution for everyone. For chartered accountants, trust develops through consistent action that demonstrate reliability, transparency, and fairness. These behavior build your professional credibility over time. This trust cannot be created just by a click. This trust is built over a time with our regular working, with our regular help to the client, with our regular assistance to the client, that the clients start believing in us, start relying on us, our advices, and they know that our trust, whatever we are saying in their benefit only, or for their goodwill only. So how the trust building should be done? Be transparent about challenges. We should never hide anything from the client when it comes to the challenges. So we have to give them a realistic timeline and potential obstacle upfront. We can say that I can complete this, but this specific part may take longer due to certain things, rather than over-promising. If we know that certain things can't be done in a particular period of time, we should be very much clear upon that. and transparent about this thing to the client. So the client also knows that, okay, if we are asking some little more time for doing certain work, so that is because of these reasons. But if we will not tell them the real positions, the client will think that this was possible, but due to our own problem or our own issues, we were not able to do the work. But when we will put out down the real positions or the real obstacles that can be there, like again, due to shortage of staff or the staff going for a leave because of illness or something like that, we can always tell them forefront itself that, look, this is the position, we are trying to get the work done in the best possible time. But however, due to these real obstacles or these real issues, there may be delay in some of the work. So that will help the client to understand that, okay, we are making our genuine efforts, but still there are certain things which are not in our control, and that can lead to a delay. So the client is also prepared mentally that there can be a delay in spite of our best of the efforts put up by us. We should share the facts, not assumption. Ground your communication in verifiable information. When you don't know something, acknowledge it and commit to find it out rather than speculating. Whenever we give any advice or any information to the client, or whenever the client asks any information from us, if we are not sure about that thing, we should not give a false information or we should not be on an assumptive basis. Even if we are making any assumptions, it should be clear to the client. Okay, we are saying this thing, but subject to our assumption that we have to cross-check with certain other thing also or certain other facts also. So the client should be knowing that whatever we have said, that is coming with certain qualification or certain assumptions which can be right or which can be wrong. So, but when we have shared the facts with our clients, or when we have shared the verifiable information with the client, the client will not feel ki, okay, we have told them something, but that can be verified from any other part also, because at present, look, we cannot say ki whatever we say the client believes in like that only. They will always cross-verify it, cross-check it, because nowadays, due to the openness, due to the internet services, or due to this whole lot of Google and Chat GPT, etc., everything is very much clear to the client. Or rather, I would say, if they had already done their homework, they have only come to us to get it verified. So if we are the source of verification for them, we have to be doubly sure that there is no scope of ambiguity in our information provided to them, because that will only help them to strengthen the trust with them, because they will rely that whatever information we are giving to them, that is verifiable and trustworthy. Use neutral language, avoid inflammatory or accusatory terms. Frame issues that objectively without assigning blame, which keeps conversation productive. Look, there may be a point of time when the mistake is of the client, but making the client realize that it is their mistake, or the particular work was not done or cannot be done in a particular period of time because of their client's issues. We have to communicate these issues and mistake to the client also in a manner that they don't feel offensive and don't feel that we are trying to blame them, because no one likes taking blame. So that is also the fact with the client, even if in reality they know that the fault is on their part, but the language or the tone or the manner in which this mistake is conveyed to them or is being told to them or made them realize, that matters. That matters because in that way, the client will think that, okay, the mistake was ours. Still, we professionals have told them this mistake in a manner that is not offensive to them, or in a manner that they realize this thing with their heart. Keep commitments consistently. Look, there can be a time when we are not able to meet our commitment, but that should not be a habit. it should not be in a manner that every time we are failing on our commitment. 8 out of 10 times, if we are making our commitment, then only we can think about, okay, 2 times when we failed our commitment, the client understands the reason for that. But if it's vice versa, like if it is otherwise, like 2 times we have met our commitment and 8 times we fail to meet our commitment, the client will see that we are not trustworthy. We cannot be trusted upon when it comes to commitment. And that is where the trust gets hurt. That is the biggest roadblock in our trust building process, which is a time-taking process. Our reliability on minor commitment builds confidence in major agreements. Because when we start meeting our commitments on small issues, it will lead to a bigger commitment and major agreement. Because then the client, first of all, the client will test us on small parts. Then only slowly and slowly, when the trust will start building, they will put up more trust in us and provide us with the major assignments when they know that we have met our minor commitment. So slowly and slowly they know that the meeting commitment is our forte. Meeting commitment is our strength. They know that we will be able to meet the commitment even if it's a major agreement or a major assignment. Be fair even with power advantage. Even when we know that we are in a power or we are having a certain advantage, then also we have to use it ethically. Fairness, when you could exploit advantage, build lasting trust. Even if being in power or being in a commanding position, we should not use our command or a power for an unethical part or for a negative part, but we should be very fair and just in our actions with the client or anyone of whom we are dealing with. Because the biggest strength of a powerful person is when he don't misuse his power. And even if we know that we have certain power, choosing it cautiously and judicially for the best of the advantage of the client will not only help the client to understand that we are with them, or even if we could have used the power to get more fees from the client or anything else, still we ask for a reasonable fees or we ask for the comparable fees in the market. The client will only rely on us that, look, he could have asked anything from us in this time of desperation or in time of problem. Still he asked something which we could afford or which we can afford easily. So that means we are a genuine person, we are a genuine professional who are not only there to make money, but also to provide the best of the professional services with a very reasonable or very competitive fee structure. And the client will be happy to have trust in us and provide better clientele and referral to us in the future. So these 5 things, if we take care in our professional practice, that will definitely build trust with the client over the period of time, but natural, and will help us to grow like with leaps and bounds like anything, and help us to have a good negotiation help us to be better negotiator than anyone else. Then comes, in order to build the trust, there is called EAR technique. EAR. What does EAR technique is? This 3-step communication framework helps you to respond to concerns in a way that build trust and open dialogue. It's particularly effective in tense situations. Look, maximum or the majority of the time, the negotiations will be in a tense situations. There will be hardly friendly negotiation, because friendly negotiations are not negotiations. They are basically the mutual agreements that gets into this thing. Negotiations are only done when there is something which the parties of the negotiations are not happy with and they want to come to a better situation or better conclusion. So by using this EAR technique, we shall be able to ease out the tense situation so that the parties of the negotiation feel themselves more listened about, more cared about, more think that they are being treated in an equal manner. So what does this EAR means? EAR means empathy, acknowledgement, and reassurance. Let's look into each of these things. What is empathy? We acknowledge the other person's feelings and perspective. Empathy is listening to other person in a manner that you care. You understand their viewpoint. You understand what they want to say or what they feel. Giving them this assurance that you are with them, or you want to listen to them, you want to help them. That is very much important whenever there is a tense situation. And believe me, in day-to-day life also, you might have seen this, you might have experienced this, whether in a professional or even in a personal life also. When it comes to your spouses, your children, your parents, when you listen to them in a manner that you are understanding their viewpoint, or you are ready to listen to their viewpoint, that is will give them or help them to be more open, to be more descriptive, or to be more expressive, in which way you will be able to understand what actually is going in their mind. So I understand why this is important for you, or I can see this situation is creating pressure, will help them to realize that we are empathetic with them, we are ready to listen to them, we understand their position, we understand their problem, we understand their pressure point. And that listening, that empathy will automatically help them to be more open. The second part of EAR technique is acknowledgement. After listening to them, after hearing to them, after being empathetic with them, we have to validate their concern as legitimate. We have to tell them that, okay, whatever you are saying, we understand that they are good, they are correct, they are valid. You have a valid concern about, or that's an important consideration that deserves attention. They have to be acknowledged. Their each and every issue, their demand, their concern has to be acknowledged. Just by listening will not solve, just by being empathetic will not solve, but the acknowledgement of that listening, that issue, that concern will create more of a trust with them, that, okay, we are ready to acknowledge your concern, we are ready to acknowledge your issues, and see how those issues can be solved, how those matters can be taken care of in the best of your interest. And the third part of the EAR technique is reassurance. After empathy, after acknowledging their issues, there comes commitment to finding a solution. Assurance. Give them reassurance. Give them a reassurance that whatever we are sitting over here to negotiate about, whatever we are going to discuss about, that will be with the sole objective of keeping a best of the solution for each and every concerns of all the parties. Let's work together to find a solution that addresses this, or I am confident we can find approach that works. By saying these things, the other party or all the parties of the negotiation shall feel that they have been heard, they have been acknowledged, their issues will be taken care of when the final outcome of the negotiation will come. That will be possible only when they are being reassured about this thing, that their issues are not ignored, their issues are not kept aside, but they have been open, or they are ready to do this thing in a manner that the negotiation will go in a manner that everyone shall be heard, everyone shall be given due care. So why EAR works? This sequence validates feeling before moving to problem solving, which reduces defensiveness and creates psychological safety for productive dialogue. Look, whenever a person is sitting on a negotiation table, whether it's a financial negotiation, whether it is a non-financial negotiation, at first everyone's mind is that the other person is there to defeat, there to win. So everyone is closed. They are defensive. All the parties, they are defensive, because in a negotiation, what happens is at present, no one is able to trust other one, and no one is able to see that the negotiation is more about finding a collaborative solution rather than win or lose in a battle. So with this ear technique, starting with empathy, with leading to acknowledgement and ultimately reassuring, this only helps them to open up by moving towards the problem solving. Because before the problem solving, what is required is understanding the problem and leading and making the parties to the problem, or whosoever is the party to the negotiation, believe that this negotiation is being done with the purpose of solving the problem. And that will only come when each and every party is being heard, is being listened, is being taken care of, is being given a reassurance that their interest and their concerns shall be taken care of in the best possible manner through this negotiation process. So how this ear technique will work, in that there is a 3C method: clear, concise, and complete. 3C method is clear, concise, and complete. So all the negotiation, all the communication should be based on these 3C method. When communicating complex information like fee quote, audit requirement, or compliance clarification, the 3C method ensures your message builds trust through professionalism. So what is the 3C? Clear. Your communication with the parties to the negotiation should be clear. Use simple, unambiguous language. Avoid jargon unless necessary, and define technical terms when used. You should understand one thing, that whatever you are saying, your knowledge level, your understanding level may be at a better position in comparison to your counterpart, or in comparison to the other parties of the negotiation. So your communication should be clear. It should not show that you are trying to use jargons to avoid, to make them confused or make them think that whatever you are saying, you are at a better position and not equal to them, or not in a negotiation, but in a dictatorial system. So that will definitely help you to be more friendly with your communication. It will also help the other party to understand what are your concerns, what you want to communicate, and why it is important. It should be very much clear. With clarity, it also comes a concise. Look, we have to maintain a very good balance between the clarity and the conciseness. While being a clear, you should not be so much descriptive, or you should not go into so much detailing that you get off track, or you are not able to communicate what you wanted to communicate because of the fact that you got so descriptive. So you have to be very concise. Respect your audience time by eliminating unnecessary information. Include only what's relevant to the decision or understanding at hand, without going into backgrounds, without going into detailed system or a thing which are not the pattern. Because sometimes what happens is the detailings also lead to unnecessary discussion, unnecessary pointings, unnecessary things that can disrupt the regular negotiation process. So you have to concise, remain to the point, and in the manner that whatever is important for this negotiation, that should be only given to brought to the table, and on the basis of that only it should be discussed, but in a clear manner. But at the same time, you have to be complete. Provide all information needed for informing. Anticipate questions, address them proactively. Nothing erode trust faster than discovering important omitted details. So it is very much important that while you are in a negotiation process, you have to provide whatever information you are providing, it should be complete. There should be no scope of hidden information or ambiguity or anything which at later stage, if pop up, can create a environment of distrust that even though genuine omission, but the other party will think that the particular information was hidden or was not revealed with a frivolous intention or with any other purpose of non-communication. So clear, concise, and complete information or communication will help to create more of a trust with among the parties, because now the parties know that whatever information is, it is clear without any scope of any sort of subjectivity. It is concise, with a relevant point only, and also at the same time complete with all the details available on record, and so that the decision can be taken or the negotiation can be done on the basis of that complete information. Let's take an example of transparent fee negotiation. In a real world example, demonstrate how trust building communication technique transform a challenging fees discussion into a collaborative agreement. The biggest client challenge is your fees is too high compared to other firms I have spoken with. I need you to match their pricing. Look, the client will always come to you with this thing that XYZ professional of your line or the same thing is charging this thing, or in the market the fee structure is this thing, even though he might not have taken the real quotations or anything with it, but just on the basis of certain haywire information or otherwise, or just a bluff, he will say that they have discussed with some other professionals also and they are quoting this much of fees for this work, and why we are quoting something more. So first of all, we have to be empathetic. We have to listen. I understand that budget considerations are important and you are being diligent about comparing options. We have to first of all acknowledge and tell them that their concern about budget and the other low fee structure is genuine, and they have done it in a diligently manner by comparing it with other options. Even if not, we have to tell them that they have done their work in a very rightful manner, and it is very good for them to come and ask us about the reason for their high fees. Now, as our step should be transparent clarification. For clarity, our scope includes comprehensive tax planning, quarterly reviews, unlimited consultation, and audit representation. Many firms quote lower but exclude these services. We have to tell them that they might have got a low fee system or a lesser fees quote from other competitors, other professionals from our line, but they might not have still discussed the scope of work. We are very much clear of our scope of work, that in whatever fees we have quoted to you, we are going to provide you these all services. And we believe that when you will discuss this scope with your the persons you have taken quotations from of less fees, they will definitely increase their fees. We have to tell them that this is in whatever fees we are charging from you, we are very much clear that we are going to provide these services to you, which we believe that others, when they are also asked to provide these services, will also increase the fees. Now, value demonstration. This comprehensive approach ensures your compliance, reduces future audit risk, and typically saves client for far more avoid penalties than fee difference. We have to make the client will understand that, okay, we are already taking care of about all these things. And since our quality work will be there, so automatically at later stage, if anything comes up, we will be responsible and answerable for that. And since we are doing it with a responsibility and have charged the fees for this thing, so automatically the client will not be of skepticism that at later stage, even after paying so much of fees, he will not have to face certain undue demand notices or undue assessment, negative assessments against him. So our value demonstration will help the client to build more trust in the client mind about our fees demand in comparison to others. So the collaborative solution will come out that rather than reducing scope or compromising quality, let me propose a phased billing phase plan that eases your cash flow while maintaining full services. We can always give them this collaborative solution that we are providing you these all services in a set declared fees of ours, and we also give you an option or solution to pay the fees, our fees, in a phased manner and not in a one shot. That will help you to pay the fees and not bear the feel the pinch also, because we are giving you the option of phased fee payment or structured fee payment system, in which it will be divided over the period of time without giving you any undue cash flow problem. So in this manner, we are able to negotiate by understanding the problem of the client, by negating the other peers quotations, by helping the client to understand what better thing we are providing to them or what value additions we are giving to them in this fee structure. And at the end, again, thinking of the client interest and giving them the option of paying us in a phased manner and not in a one shot. So ultimately, the client will think that in all this negotiation, it is his interest only that has been taken care of, and whatever we are charging, that is worth of that services and the system provided by us. So client agrees because they trust the transparency, understanding the value, and appreciate the flexible payment solution that addresses their real concern. So ultimately, the client is having a trust on us that we have disclosed each and everything to him with a fair and transparent system. After building a trust, the next level comes is creating value for collaborative solutions. What is the value creation in negotiation? Value creation means expanding the pie before dividing it. Instead of fighting over fixed resources, you increase overall benefits so both parties gain more than they initially thought possible. Look, when the negotiation starts, it starts with limited benefit for both the parties. Because then only we are sitting on a negotiable table, because both the parties are at present with a sitting over there or started the negotiation with a limited benefits for each of the parties. But we have to make the negotiation process in a manner that it enhances the values for both the parties during the process of the negotiation. Then only the negotiation will move in a smooth and a friendly manner and lead to a benefit solution for both. This mindset shift transforms negotiation from adversarial competition to collaborative problem solving, win-lose thinking to win-win outcome, fixed resources to expanded possibilities, and my interest versus yours to our shared success. Look, when we started this deliberation, then only so we talked about this thing. The ultimate goal of any of the negotiation should be to have a shared success and a win-win outcome for everyone, and not a battle in which one wins and the other loses. Because when it's taken as a battle, it becomes hostile, and it will always be a non-pleasurable or a non-benefiting for negotiation for all the parties. A best of the negotiation is only that negotiation where each of the parties in a win-win situation with shared success. So value creation by expanding pie before dividing it will only help this to be achieved in a best possible manner. For CA professional, value creation offer means finding ways to serve client needs while maintaining professional standard and profitability. Not by compromising either, but by discovering new approaches. When we are doing this value additions in our own negotiations with the clients, it will only help them, the clients, it will only help in maintaining the standards and the quality at the same time without compromising on the fees and without compromising on the interest of the client. So traditional versus value creating approaches. Traditional approaches, I can either do the full audit for X amount or a limited review for less amount. This is the traditional approach. Okay, client comes to us and we quote a fees. So the client is not happy and we just bluntly say this, ki either take this at this amount or this at less thing. And what is the value creating approach? Okay, negotiation is going on. The client comes to us and we say, let's explore what outcome you need. First of all, we have to understand what is the interest of the client. What basically is the client's requirement from us. Maybe we can structure the engagement differently. We can ask them to, okay, since you are asking us to do these things, or your requirement is these things, so let's restructure our engagement and we combine audit of key areas with advisory services that improve your operation, creating more value for similar investment. Okay, our fees remain the same, but in that fees, we will little bit adjust our scope or engagement by doing the audit of the key areas and provide in the rest of the areas, providing the advisory services so that you can give the, you can be benefited or your outcome or your operations are more effectively done in the manner that ultimately by paying the same amount of fees or the same amount of thing, you are getting more of the value from us. So that will not only help the client to understand or think about this thing, but will also increase our value in his eyes that, okay, without compromising on the fees or without taking more fees, they are providing a little bit more services, which ultimately will serve my purpose with the whatever work I am going to get done. So what are the techniques for collaborative value creation? These proven approaches help you to discover creative solutions that benefit all parties while maintaining professional integrity. So what is basically it is the brainstorming before evaluating. No evaluation should be done at the very first instance. You have to generate multiple options without judgment. Don't reach at the judgment, but look at various options. Brainstorm yourself from the available opportunities, from the available resources, what best and possible things can be done in a different manner. Premature evaluation kills creativity. Be creative. More creativity will help to get the best of the solution. You can frame any engagement, any assignment in the n number of ways with the different options and the different availables. You have to provide the different buffet systems to the client in a manner that he has the option of choosing the best of them with the flexibility that there can be interchangeability among the different options available to get ultimately the final decided buffet to be set up. Separate attention for decision making. Next technique is offer multiple proposals. Present 2-3 different approaches. There are 3 ways we can structure this engagement, each with different trade-off. In every of the options, you provide the bare minimum things along with other value additions. So with this thing, the client will get the options to decide what best services he wants and what is the fees within the given amount of fees that he is ready to offer. So that will not only help him to get the best of the services from us, but also us to understand the actual requirement of the client along with, without compromising on the fees that we have demanded from the client, without putting any additional cost on our part as well as on the client part. Trade low cost, high value items. Identify what's inexpensive for you but valuable to them and vice versa. These asymmetric trees create mutual gains. There may be a certain thing which might not cost you so much but may be of a valuable to other person or the other party. So first offer them those things because you know that these are of more important to the other party but will not harm you or will not affect much of your own cost structure because that is regular for you or a normal thing for you. So that will help you to give less cost item at a high value to the other person. Because every client has a different requirement. Every client has a different perspective about the work that we do. So we have to understand their thing. And by understanding this, we have to give them low cost with a high value item. Then only our efficiency, our profitability will increase. At the same time, the client will also not feel that he has been charged more. Separate people from problem. We have to distinguish between the problems and the people. Look, people are not the problem. But if we start addressing or we start recognizing people's or the parties to the negotiation as a problem, we will not be able to reach the consensus. Focus on interest and issues, not personalities. Egos should be kept aside. Parties to the negotiations are there to get best for themselves. And we have to ultimately come to a shared goal, shared problem, not the people. We are not fighting against the people, but we are fighting against the problem. The attack problems together rather than attacking each other, because that way it will lead only to a chaos. It will not solve the problem. But when we will focus on the problem without thinking what other person is or what it is, don't consider other person a roadblock, but consider a problem as a roadblock. When working together to remove that roadblock, that will definitely help you to reach a consensus. And also be objective, not subjective, or with a predetermined notion in your mind about the other person. You will be able to focus more on the problem. Focus on outcome, not ego. Measure success by results achieved, not by winning the negotiation. Best outcome matters more than the best argument. You can put up best argument, but that best argument cannot give you a best of the outcome. But if you will put up the argument, or if your argument is focused more on the problem or more on the outcome that you want, that will help you to concentrate or more, follow the process in a more negotiating manner rather than a battle manner. Your concentration or your principle should not be to win and make other person lose. Winning is no, but natural winning is our purpose. But our purpose should not be to other person to lose. Our purpose should be that we win. And if with that win, the other person is also winning, then there is nothing better negotiation than that. But when we focus on making other person to lose, that is a negative negotiation. That is a negative trade, which will always lead to a bad result. Look, in Mahabharata, what happened is, it was when the Pandavas asked for the 5 villages and asked for this thing, okay, give us this thing, we will move out and do it. But Duryodhana was more focused on finishing the Pandavas. Duryodhana was more focused about how they can remove or eradicate the Pandavas at all. That led to the Mahabharata, and ultimately we all know the results of the Mahabharata. What was that? Which led to with the ego, with the only to win and not to give Pandavas what they asked for by leaving out this thing, because in that situation it would have been a win-win situation for both. But he never wanted this thing, but only to win, and that led to a disaster, that led to destruction of his own clan, his own family. So we have to focus on outcome, not ego. So by following these technique for collaborative value creation, we will be able to give the best of the option to the all the stakeholders, all the parties of the negotiation. So looking into this system, we come up with MESO. What is MESO? MESO is multiple equivalent simultaneous offers. Negotiation is nothing but giving multiple equivalent simultaneous offers. What does this mean? This technique involves presenting 2-3 balanced proposals simultaneously, each with different trade-offs but roughly equivalent value. This approach reduces conflict and speed decision making. Because if we are sticking only on one point or one solution, that will there will always be a roadblock, because that point or a solution was always known to the thing, and they know that with this thing they are going to all the parties of the negotiation knew this outcome. But when multiple equivalent simultaneous offers are offered in the negotiation, all the parties restart their thinking process, restart evaluating their own positions, and ultimately get to a better solution, because now they have different options available with them. Now they have different things where they can have the best possible for what is best possible for them. So like, for example, again, client engagement structure. First option is comprehensive package, full statutory audit, quarterly financial reviews, unlimited tax advisory consultation, plus audit representations. So this is what is the investment? Premium tier pricing. If the client is ready for this, this is the best option that we are giving to the comprehensive package. Now, the client always knows about this comprehensive package. Okay, you are providing us this thing, this thing, this thing, but we are not ready to pay you this premium pricing because we are not in the capacity to do so. Or, for example, we don't require quarterly financial reviews, or our organization is such that there will not be any audit representations or something like that. So ultimately, without now we know that there will not be any purpose of giving them this comprehensive package, because neither it will be of any use to them, or that will again, it will also be costly option for them, and they will definitely refuse it. So we have to give them a second option, that is core services. Okay, you are not requiring quarterly financial reviews. We will give you another option of statutory audit plus 2 scheduled consultation calls, email support for urgent matter. In that, your purpose will be solved. It is a mid-tier pricing, and we know that your main purpose is to get your statutory audit done, annual audit done. Along with that, you can at any point of time 2 conditional scheduled consultation calls can be done for any of your advisory work or any of your consultation to any processes or any other requirement of yours, along with email support for urgent matters. So that will serve your purpose. So it will only help you to, and in that case, our fees will be X amount. So now we know that our scope is, or our engagement is a limited one. We don't want to put in more of the efforts in that. And our requirement from the client, the client's requirement from us is only limited to this thing. And accordingly, we are, whatever fees we have quoted, that is, will justify our cost to that services also. So the client, if is of a mid-level, will be more happy with this thing, because they don't have to pay for something which is not worth for them. Now there comes the third option, where there is a limited engagement, limited review engagement, basic compliance support, annual tax planning session, etc. Entry level pricing, where the organization is still into a development stage or still into a early born stage, and there are no requirement of statutory audit because of certain turnover limitations or otherwise. So we are providing them the limited review engagement. Okay, we are not doing the statutory audit, but definitely we will help you to compile your financials, to help you to present it for your own purposes as well to other stakeholders, including banks, etc. And at the same time, we will be providing you basic compliances support in GST and other thing and this thing. In this way, you will be able to do your look after your financial compliances work, but at the same time, your fees will also be very reasonable as compared to the work what you are expecting from us. So by providing these 3 types of options, we are helping the client or helping the other party to see what is his requirement and what are the three fee structure that he has to look into when it comes to the different type of services. So whatever services best suits to his requirement, he will agree to this thing, because he knows that whatever he is paying for the work that is being done and is only the requirement of his. We have given the different options to him without sticking only to one option. So why Meso works? Because client choose based on their actual need and budget, reducing negotiation friction. You maintain professional standard across all options while accommodating different client situation. Because in the first comprehensive package, not only you have to put in more of the efforts, more of the energy into the client work, particular client work, because it will be a comprehensive analysis throughout the year. In the second option, you are providing one-time services in the year, along with very little of the only a scheduled consultation calls, where you know that you don't need to put in extra effort, any other extra effort to that. And in the third part, where the client requirement is just the limited review from your side or any basic compliance requirement, so automatically you are going to get it done from your staff or something like that only, where your efforts and your pricing will not be of much requirement. So Meso is basically giving a multiple options with different cost and effect to that. Then there is a conditional yes power technique. What is a conditional yes power technique? This approach protects your interest while demonstrating flexibility. Means, okay, like in accepting the audit assignment also, many a time there thing comes conditional acceptance. So what is conditional acceptance? Is subject to getting no objection from the previous auditor. Okay, we are accepting this assignment, but subject to no objection from the previous auditor. That is conditional yes, because we are putting up the condition over there. Okay, we are accepting your assignment, but keeping in mind the clause 8 requirement of ours, that if your previous auditor or the consultant gives any professional objection to this, then you will be required to remove that objection first, and then only we will continue with our work. So, but there is a method of saying it in a conditional yes system. That is, instead of no, I cannot complete the audit by Friday, the conditional is, okay, yes, I can complete the audit of Friday if we receive all outstanding documentation by Tuesday and limit the scope to the critical section required for your bank submission. Now we have put a conditional engagement. We have put a condition of our engagement. I am not denying your requirement. First of all, starting with a no is a negative answer, but starting with a yes followed by a condition is a positive and negotiable answer. So what I am saying is, yes, I am ready to complete the work, because by saying yes, I am ready to complete the work by Friday will give a sense of satisfaction to the other party, or sense of, okay, I desired a work, or I demanded certain work in a particular timeline, and the CA is ready to do it. But we put our own condition that you also need to contribute into this process by providing timely information by this deadline and giving us enough time, and by limiting our scope to the critical section, in which way you will be able to get the outcome of submitting the financials to the bank, and that will also serve your purpose. In this manner, our work is also being done and your work condition is also being satisfied, and the client also knows that the yes was conditional. So if the client fails to provide the information by Tuesday, at least he will not be able to put a blame on us that we fell short on the commitment that we made to complete the audit by Friday, because he didn't provide the information by Tuesday. But he right from the day one knew that this completion of work by Friday was only possible if he fulfill his commitment of providing all the documents and information by Tuesday. Yes, I can do, followed by what is your request if condition that protects you. This structure accomplishes 3 goals simultaneously. Demonstrate willingness to help. Like I said, starting with no is a negative trait. Starting with yes is, I am ready to do the work. I am not denying your requirement. I am not denying your interest. I am there for you. And that is my demonstration of willingness to help. Sets clear boundary by putting up a condition that by Tuesday you are going to provide the required information. I have put a boundary. I have safeguarded my interest also by putting up a boundary ki if any delay is there on the client's part beyond Tuesday, automatically it will release me from pressure of completing the work by Friday. So I have right from the day one set a clear boundary in front of the client. If this is possible if this is done. And create shared responsibility for the outcome. Automatically, there is a shared responsibility that if the client does his part of providing the information by Tuesday, it will be my responsibility to do the rest of the work by Friday. So both are sharing the responsibility of completing the work by Friday. It is not only on our part, because we have told the client, you do your part, and if you are able to do your part, rest assured, we are responsible for doing it our part. More example can be, yes, I can reduce the fees if we adjust the deliverables to focus on essential compliance only. We have put the reduced fees with a compliance restrictions or with a reduced scope of work or engagement. Yes, I can accommodate the earlier deadline if we can extend the timeline for the detailed recommendation report. Okay, you want the report to be submitted for the bank. Bank is not interested in detailed compliance. They want the basic assurance from us about this thing. We will provide the limited review for your submission to the bank with the condition that we will be providing the detailed thing in a given decided time frame at a later stage. So it will automatically reduce the burden and also help you to replan your work in a much better way. At the same time, the client purpose of getting the work done will also be solved. Yes, I can provide additional analysis if we structure this as a separate engagement with appropriate billing. The client can demand us for certain other thing, but we have to tell them that this requires certain other efforts, which will come with a particular cost. So automatically we are ready to provide you this thing, but this is the additional cost that is there. Bank loan documentation is one of the case studies which is regarding this thing, that bank's urgent requirement is additional financial statement and projections within 48 hours. Look, you have provided the audit report for the current year. Now bank is asking, okay, give me the financial projection for the next 5 years also, because loan committee review meeting is there and we need to put it before them. Now, challenge before us is that minimum 5 to 7 working days are required to do a comprehensive analysis of future projections, so that is done in a best possible manner. Now, the collaborative approach should be that first of all we see what are the basic requirement, prioritize submission strategy. What are the minimum required things that the loan committee review meeting requires, or the loan committee the loan committee requires for the reviewing our proposal. So by deciding okay, you provide us minimum of this much by 48 hours, so that the committee can look into it, and the rest we can do it in a later stage. So that will help us to understand the basic bare minimum requirement of the committee, and accordingly we will work on a further part. So what is the innovative solution? Soft copy executive summary for immediate review, plus scheduled telephonic clarification meeting. Full documentation follows within standard timeline. So by giving us soft copy executive summary, so that the loan review committee can look into the overall prospect, overall thing, with a scheduled telephonic clarification meeting. Ki, okay, at later stage, whatever your remaining queries are, we can discuss it on a phone. And from that conversation, whatever the remaining things comes out, we will provide you over the period of time so that your process goes off smoothly. So what is the win-win result is bank meets committee deadline with sufficient information and relevant information required on a priority. CA maintains quality standard. Our also the 5 to 7 business days that we would require to do the comprehensive work. We also get that timeline. Plus the client loan also go into a in principle approval with the preliminary information that was relevant for the loan committee work. This approach reduced time pressure for both parties while maintaining professional standard and the essence of value creations. The last and the foremost part is drive consensus and secure win-win outcome. So what is the true consensus? Consensus doesn't mean everyone gets their first choice. Look, when the negotiation starts, everyone came there to win, to get what they thought they wanted. But this is not consensus. Consensus is everyone accepts the decision, feels heard, and believes their interest was respected in reaching the outcome. The outcome that is reached might not be the first choice that the parties were thinking about. But with the discussion, with the negotiations, with the various things that we have discussed till now, they will feel that they are being heard, their issues has been taken care of, their concerns has been resolved, and the ultimate decision that has come is with the consensus of all the parties, with the best of the possible options that could have been possible. So all voices heard, every stakeholder has the opportunity to express concern, interests respected, underlying needs, knowledge and addressed, mutual acceptance, all parties can support the final decision, perceived fairness, process and outcome seems as equitable, and shared commitment, everyone invested in making solution work. So this is the collaborative system of negotiation and a problem solving. So in this, no one feels that they are being left out, they have been dictated, or their interest has not been considered at all. But with proper discussion, with proper caring, taking care of each and everyone's own interest and voice, everyone felt heard and fair. They all feel that whatever decision has come is a fair outcome. It is not a one-sided outcome, but a fair outcome that was possible in the given scenario with benefit for all. Everyone has something from that outcome which is positive. For CA professionals, building consensus is critical when mediating family business dispute, facilitating partnership decisions, or navigating complex stakeholder situations where your professional judgment helps building guide outcome. These are the very day-to-day affairs of a CA profession where this negotiation skill can help the clients and other parties of the negotiation to get the final outcome, which is win-win situation for all. So what are the 6 steps to achieve consensus is align on shared purpose, begin by establishing common ground as we started from today's deliberation also. Common grounds. We have to establish common ground. What outcome does everyone want? We have to understand what is all of their interest. What values or goals unite the group? This foundation make differences negotiable. Because when you understand that what is the core thing on which all of the parties will basically sit and discuss, that will help you to make them negotiate. Because the first and the foremost thing to make them is that they are ready to negotiate and not sticking to their non-negotiable part. Because until and unless someone is ready to negotiate, there is no fun in the negotiation process. List all interest. Have each party explicitly state their needs, concern, and priorities. Write them down visibly so everyone sees all perspectives. Acknowledge. There should not be hidden meeting. There should be open-ended, open house discussion by all the parties, where all the parties are given an opportunity to speak out their mind, their interest, and write them out. so that remaining of the parties are seeing what is the interest of the other party and why they are asking basically what they are asking. So that will also help them to think about the genuine concerns of each other. Brainstorming solutions, generate options without evaluating. Don't evaluate, but generate options. Options in a manner that each party get to know what is there for them in a particular option. Encourage creative thinking, build on others' ideas. Quantity over quality. At this stage, judging comes later. You at present have to give maximum of the options. Quantity over quality means you have to give the maximum of the possible options, maybe less on quality, but it should be an option because you never know which option ultimately clicks. So don't, without being judgmental on the success of the option or something like that, you have to give them that option. Maybe that option with a little bit of variation at the judgment stage can work for all the parties. Combine ideas, look for ways to merge different suggestions into integrated solution that address multiple interests simultaneously. Hybrid approaches often work best. As I said, that no particular option is final in itself. You have to combine different options in a manner that they ultimately lead to a final outcome that is required by all. So hybrid approach is the best approach. Test for objections. For each option, you have to ask for the objections of each party, because from that objections only there will be some refining of the options available. Can you support this solution? We have to ask each party whosoever interest is there, because if anyone's of interest is not taken care of in the particular option, that will derail the negotiation process. Listen to concerns, refine the approach based on feedback, and consensus requires addressing deal breaker issues. You have to look at, understand what can be the point or a deal breaker thing that can possible deal breaker issues, and you have to negate that by giving a better available option to that, or by refining the option in order to take care of that thing. And finalize and document it. Confirm agreement explicitly. Document decisions in writing. Clarify responsibilities and timeliness. Written agreement prevent future understanding. There should not be any unwritten, undocumented negotiation result, because whatever is written and specifically cleared, mentioned to each and every party which they sign it, will be the negotiation which they never will be difficult for them to retract at later stage, because that will help that each one to understand their own roles and responsibility or outcome from the particular negotiation. One case study regarding a family business dispute resolution is a CA professional also served as trusted advisor mediating family business conflict. What is the case in this thing is there is a conflict between a generation, means father and a son looking after the same business. Father, who is the majority stakeholder, wants conservative investment and slow, steady growth. But son, who is slowly in taking part in the day-to-day affairs of the business, he is more of an operation manager and wants aggressive expansion and modernization investment. So now father has his own certain queries and certain restriction to what the son's approach is. So this has left to what has happened is neither can move forward without other support and creating business paralysis and family tension. So what is the consensus building process in this? Shared goals. You have to first identify what is the basically both their concern. The goal should be to business growth with financial safety and financial harmony preserved. Their ultimate goal is whatever way they follow, their goal is for the business growth. Father's interest. Explore, you have to first understand what is father's interest. Father interest is risk aversion stems from previous business failure, experience, concern for family security, and desire to protect legacy. Look, he has the one who has built the legacy over the period of time. Now he doesn't want that due to certain false calls of the sons or due to certain risky ventures of the son, the whole of the legacy that he has created goes into dust. So we have to take care of his conservative approach also. Now we have to understand son's interest also, whose ambition is to grow the business, concern about competitive threat, desire to prove capabilities and secure future. Now he is the one who is going to take that legacy further. So we have to understand how he thinks about this thing and how he wishes to do so. So while with joint solution created, ultimately the result can be that, okay, since father is the majority stakeholder, so capital allocation strategy shall be 60% in conservative and 40% in a proven investment. 40% in strategic expansion with clear milestones and controls. There has to be clear milestone and controls with this thing. And additional safeguards will be quarterly review meeting, performance metrics for expansion projects, agreed exit strategy if targets not met. Son has to be told about various milestones, various requirements, various exit strategies, and the father should also be told that a particular review meeting, everything will be discussed so that you can see the phase in which the investment is getting done and how the investment results are coming out. So result is both parties satisfied with balanced approach. Son is also happy that father has agreed to invest in it, and ultimately he is also getting the free hand in the expansion part accordingly. And father feels protected, son gets opportunity to demonstrate growth strategy, family relationship preserved, and business moves forward. So this is a win-win situation for both, ultimately leading to the business growth. So what win-win really means? Win-win outcome doesn't require perfect equality or identical gains. There will never be an equal gain for everyone. They require both parties feel they have gained value, were treated with respect, and have their core interest protected. This is basic the requirement of negotiation, that each parties feel they gained value, they were heard, they were treated with respect, and their core interest was protected ultimately, without to thinking who got more, who got less, but the core interest was protected. So when talking from the point of view of CA, clear audit scope, detailed scope agreement prevents disputes, protects CAs from scope creep, gives client predictable cost and time. Both parties feel secure. Phase fee payments, client manages cash flow better with structured payment. CA reduces collection risk with milestone, etc. And smooth tax assessment and loan restructuring, proactive disclosures and documentation means all these. In what is happening is everywhere everyone is getting something, but in a with the core interest, protection of the core interest, and with gained value. So 3F closure method should be that the how to close the negotiation determines whether the agreement stick and relationship strengthen. This is a 3-step process. Frame the final agreement, summarize what was decided in clear, simple language, stated positively that here's what we have agreed to accomplish together. Ensure everyone has the same understanding of outcome. There should not be any ambiguity in the understanding of the outcome. Everyone has known what is there, what they have been told, that is there in the outcome. Finalize expectations and responsibilities. Specify who does what, by when, and how. Because then only basically everyone will be understanding their role, their thing, and the other person will not be will be responsible for their work only. So clarify deliverables, timeline, payment terms, and communication protocols. Address various type of contingency right at the time. Okay, this outcome is subject to these. So if any of the contingency crop up, the parties to the negotiation forehand knows that if such type of contingencies are there can be certain changes in the ultimate outcome. Follow up in writing, send written communication within 24 hours. Email works for simple agreements. Formal engagement letter for complex agreement, and this like this. Because anything in writing, in documented, is only the final negotiation outcome that is been there. Always end with appreciation. Thank you for working with me to find this solution. I look forward to successful engagement. This gives a more concern, more trust into the client or the other party, because he knows that you have made him the party of the negotiation with equal and due respect.
So we have to close now. I think it's 2 o'clock.
So ultimately, you have to transform your this thing by
Sir, you have to close the session. I think it's 2 already. So you have to wind up now.
it's a done. Ma'am, done. So by all this work, we can do it in this manner. If we are doing all these, following all these processes, we are definitely going to get the best of the negotiation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session, and your valuable time means a lot for the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee. I put on record all the trust that you all participants have kept on Professional Skill Enrichment Committee for the wonderful session. And thank you, participants, for whom this webcast is a huge success. Also, all the stakeholders who has made this webcast a successful one, thank you so much. And thank you, Bhavesh sir, for your valuable time and your knowledge you shared with our participants. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, John.
We close the session.